Hello, everybody in first through fourth grade. And today's November 4th, and this is our Wednesday computer class. Now, since we have been out of the classroom for quarantine and the shutdown last year through our remote learning this year, there are a few things about being in the computer lab that we are not able to exactly do at home. And one of them is this program right here. Now, everybody who's had me before has seen this program and used this program, and it's usually one kids like a lot. We've done a couple different things in it, but it is called Pixie. And Pixie is a really awesome program for making digital art, stories, storyboards, comic strips, pictures, tons of things that you can do, and even more than you may already know. Now, Pixie is a program that's installed on the computers, right? A lot of the things that you use, like on Chromebooks, would be programs that you get on the internet, websites that have programs on them, say, for instance, Raz Kids or Typing or Extra Math or Google. Now, unfortunately, we cannot use Pixie this year, right? Because that's only on the computers in the computer lab. It is not available for Chromebooks. But guess what? If you were starting to turn that frown upside down and have a sad face, you can actually go on and use a site that is going to give you basically the same thing, but actually in a little bit more of an updated way that we have a subscription to for this year. And it is called Wixie, just like Pixie, but with a W. It's made by the same company. So I'm going to close out of Pixie right now. And for today's lesson, we're going to see how to get on and log into the site Wixie, and a little bit about how it's used, some of the basics of using that site, and we're actually going to do this for the next couple of weeks, where I give you guys some tutorials or basics about how to use Wixie, and then you can do it, and in the end, hopefully create something that's really cool that you like. Now, to get to Wixie, I have a couple ways I could do that. Just like most sites, I could type in the name, I could do a search for it, I could type in the exact address, or I have put a link to it in our Portal link list, right? So from the school's homepage, WeymouthTownshipSchool.org, a little bit down on the left, you see Portal, and anybody who's had me in the past knows how to click on that site and click on the links. And I put this in the music, phys ed, art, and health section. I thought about whether it should be under computers and technology or here, and it's something that's artistic. It's something that fits in that category a little more. And if you want to know a secret, to just be honest with you, there were already so many things in the computers and technology category, and not as much in the music, phys ed, art, and health category, that I thought it'll be better if we put it there, and it'll be easier for you to find. So, you look at the sections, go down to Music, Phys Ed, Art, and Health, and look at this link right here, Wixie, and you guys are able to now sign into this website. You actually already know how, and you could do it right now without my help, except you have to think about one thing. See where here it has username and password, and you might think, okay, that's where I have to type in my username and password. Well, I set the accounts up in Wixie so that they're actually linked to your Google accounts, right? So see right here where it says sign in with Google? That is the way that we're going to sign in. So when you get to this site from the link right here, don't automatically think, all right, let me start typing in my username and password. Don't. Stop. Pause. Freeze and click sign in with Google, right? That will take you to a sign in page, and I'm going to have to switch because I'm in my teacher account, but I have to sign into this sample student account. But once you click it, it will then give you the login for Google, where you would type in your same username and password. So if you are used to signing into your Chromebook, if you're used to getting into Google Classroom, Google Docs, if you're used to doing anything in Google where you type in the 28, your name, last initial, at weymouthtsd.org, or 27, 26, 25, and you know your Google login or you have it written down somewhere, you type in that same username, that same password, and you will be able to sign in to Wixie. I have to take one more second to sign in because I was in my teacher account, and now this should be ready for this sample student account, and this is what it will look like once you sign in. Now, it's going to look a little different than Pixie. This is the online version, and even though it's going to look a little different, even though at first getting to some of the things you used before might seem a tiny bit confusing or new or different, you'll find that this version actually has more because it's more updated. Because it's an online version, it's kept up to date all the time, whereas the version of Pixie that I have on the school computers is actually a couple years old and a little bit more outdated. So, from this screen right here, this is another good thing about Wixie rather than Pixie, that everything is stored online. Think about the difference between, say, Microsoft Word and Google Docs. We discussed this or talked about this before, but if I make a Word document right now and save that file, say to my desktop or to my Documents folder, then it's only on this computer that I'm using, unless I upload it to my Google Drive, put it on a flash drive, email it to somebody. Well, with Pixie that we used in the past, it was the same thing. We made something and then the files were saved to the computer. Here with Wixie, since this is the online version, everything that you make is automatically saved, just like Google Docs or other Google apps. So anything that we make, including one today, will automatically save to this space right here. Now, I have these categories off to the side, and we're not going to look at every one today. We're not going to see what every one of them is, but my projects is the main one that you would want to pay attention to because that's going to have the main things that you make. You could also make other folders here. You could make a folder for just say fun things that you make in Wixie. Also notice there is a trash folder. And if you deleted any of your projects, you put any of them in the trash, they would be in there for an amount of time for you to go back in and get them again or remove them from trash if you needed to. Okay, so that is the first thing to know. So here is anything that you made in Wixie. Now for today, since you guys don't have any projects and I don't have any projects yet, except for this untitled one here, which was just a short sample, we're going to go ahead and make a new project. If we had something that we worked on before and we wanted to continue, it would be in this list and we would give it a double click. But for today, we're going to click on New. And it's going to ask us a couple things. Do we want to make a new folder? No, we're not doing that right now. Maybe another time. Do we want to upload something? No. But maybe again in the future there would be a reason for that. Using the camera or a webcam, that could be something cool. But today let's just focus on these two. Landscape or portrait. Now imagine this like when somebody takes a picture on a smartphone. If they hold their phone to the side, it's going to take a wider picture. And if they hold their phone up and down, it's going to take a taller picture. And those are called landscape or portrait modes. I think for most things in Wixie, landscape is the better thing to use because it generally fits computer screens better. Most computer screens that you see are in more of a landscape format. If you were on an iPad, and I would actually have to test and see if Wixie worked well on an iPad or not. I'll be very honest, I'm not sure. Haven't tested that out yet, but I will be. If you're on an iPad, then I would say, well, if you're holding your iPad up and down, maybe click on a portrait, and that would fit your screen better. But landscape is the one that we're going to use the most often. And once you click on it, it loads a blank Wixie canvas for us. So if you're going to follow along with this tutorial today, I'm going to speed it up just a little bit. And I'm going to mention that one of the first things we're going to do is learn that just like in Google, when we did do Google Docs, Google Sheets, other things in Google, you can give it a title or a name of what you're making right up here on the left, right? And right now it says Untitled. I'm going to give that a click, and I'm going to type in Intro to Wixie. Now, boys and girls, you can type in the same exact thing as me, or you can go and type in something different. You could type in a number 1. You could type in your name. But this is a good way to give your different Wixie creations names so that you would be able to find them easily and tell what they are easily, especially if maybe you've gotten to the point you made 5, you made 10, you made 20, you made 30. It'll be a lot easier. Now, for today, we're not going to see every single thing that Wixie can do. We're going to look at some of the most basic tools and see things to get started, and then next week is going to be a part 2. So first, I'm thinking about my background. And generally, when I think of a picture, a photo, or a piece of art, something I'm making, I think of making it from the back, in the very background, the things that are going to be in the very back, then to the middle, then to the things that are going to be in the very front or the foreground. So I'm thinking of my background first. And for my background, I have tons of options, which we've talked about in the past with Pixie. First, it gives me the option right here of using colors. It says background, and then it has the color white, because that's what it is right now. I could change that, and I could say, you know what, I want to start my project with the color red. I want to start my project with the color blue, with the color green, any color I pick, or go and see where it has a different way of selecting from actually millions of colors right here. So that's one thing that you could possibly do. Also, there's a way that wasn't in Pixie before, but to put in a background picture. Now, this background picture is something where it gives us first some samples. Pixie did not have this. This is one of the updated things. So if I click on background picture right here, remember this works very similar to the way stickers did. If I looked and I said, oh, space and the planets, I like that. I want this picture as my background, and I click it right now, that's not going to give me a picture, this specific picture. That's going to give me other pictures that have to do with that category. And we can tell because this is a folder icon. Right? If we see a folder icon, we don't think, oh, this is the exact picture right here that we're going to be using, just like this picture with the island and the volcano, this picture with the pyramids. No, it's not those exact ones. It's giving me an idea of the category. And so here, this is the category of space. And then when I give it a click, then it will show me the different individual things I could use. And that picture I saw, that is one of the choices. But this is the screen where I'd go and choose that. So I like this picture of Earth right here. I'm going to give it a click. Once I've clicked it, and I selected that as the picture I want to use, I click add, and now that automatically made a background for me. I did not have to, okay? And if you don't want that to be your background, if you would prefer a solid color, if you would prefer to draw in a background, or if you liked one of the other background pictures, you could go and look through. You could change them if you want. That's perfectly fine. Pick whatever you'd like to use and go ahead and make a background. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is learn about one of the main tools right here, and that is the brush tool. So I'm going to give that brush tool a click. And here it gives me, again, my main colors I can pick from. Those are going to be mostly my primary colors or my examples of commonly used colors. I could also click here and I could pick from that color picker. That's going to give me a variety of millions of colors I could choose from, shades of all of those different selections I can make. Then it's going to give me different types of brushes. Right here by the word brush, and it shows me this squiggly line. That's showing that that is just going to give me a solid line. Now let me pick a color like yellow that's going to show up on this black background. And if I draw with just that regular brush, it's going to just draw a normal filled in color. But it shows me these other textures, these other things that I could have for my brush, whereas this one looks a little bit more like felt. This one looks a little bit more like maybe a magic marker or a highlighter, right? And different textures that my brushes could have where I could experiment and see what might make it look better or nicer for the picture that I'm doing. This last one, we did see this before in Pixie. This is a 3D brush. So this makes it look like 3D art or 3D shapes. All right, so those are the different brushes. Then I'm going to put it back to my regular standard brush. Then I have the size right here with a slider. And I can see as I change it, it goes from the smallest circle, skinny little line, to the fattest circle, big thick line. And I could change them depending on what I want to do. Now this symmetry tool I'm not going to talk about for now. I guarantee somebody at home today, right now, is going to try that symmetry tool. They're going to toggle it on. They're going to go and click on it, and they are going to start to do some crazy, wild, wacky stuff. They're going to go and click, and they're going to experiment. And if you want to do that on your own, you are welcome to. Maybe we will try a cool project sometime making something called a mandala, which you could do with that symmetry tool and make it really cool. But that's not something that I'm going to focus on or really talk about today because you can play with it if you want, but it's not really one of the more basic, more simplistic things to do or most important things to do, like I've been showing you. Now, I just made myself a terrible mess. And I don't like just scribbling, just making things for no reason. I'm only doing that to show you guys today. And you could do it along with me and experiment. But what I want to see now is probably one of the most important buttons in any program, in every program that we could use, that magical undo button. So the undo button I talk about every single year with every single computer class, and you probably have heard me say it before, so you know. But that magical undo button will erase the last step, and then the step before that, and then the step before that, and then the step before that, and keep going for what I've done. Now, it's a little tricky because in some programs, that undo button can keep going pretty much forever for however many steps you do. In other programs, it does a limit of 3, 5, 10 steps. I'll be quite honest, in Wixie, I'm not sure, so we're going to experiment right now. Can I go all the way back to the very beginning of what I did by clicking that undo button over and over? And look at that, I did. And I'm back to my initial blank canvas. That undo button is so good, so important. I'm going to put it back on the space background like that. But that undo button is what I would use to fix the majority of your mistakes, because I'm going to show you what people do a lot of times to try to fix their mistakes. If I have gardeners come in, oops, that's a mistake right there because I didn't want symmetry on. If I have a kindergarten class come in, or a first grade class, a second grade class, and they go and they do something and then they say, wait a minute, I didn't want that. A lot of times they'll go for, what do you think, which tool? The eraser tool. Now, the eraser tool can be really, really useful, but I'll be honest, for the most part, in most programs, I don't love the eraser tool. Okay? Because the eraser tool sometimes makes a bigger mess than what it's trying to fix. So let's do a simple thing. Let's say, for instance, I want to erase this pink line from that background. So I clicked my eraser tool. All right, my size looks like it's big enough, and I start to erase. Well, that worked. But let's see if I had done it just a little differently. If I had a line like this and I only wanted to erase that one going down, I click my eraser tool, click on it, and oh, wait, I just cut through something I wanted. And that can happen a lot. Oh, wait, it left some slivers, and maybe I'll try to get this, but get something that I didn't want to get. Oh, so the eraser tool, you can try sometimes. It can be useful sometimes, but a lot of the time, that eraser tool can make a little bit of a mess and have things be not or turn out not the way that you wanted them. I would really try to fix my mistakes using that undo button more than the eraser tool. So for today, we're going to look at two last tools, and we're going to try to do it fairly quickly. But we are going to look at two tools that are up here at the top. And again, this will not be everything in the world that Wixie can do. I would have to make an hour-long video to do that. And I don't think you would want that. I don't think I would want that. I'm going to show you two more things. And then hopefully you guys have some time that you could go and work on something cool in Pixie. You could make some things that you want, try multiple things. But in any case, we're going to look at these two at the top as our final tools for today. An image tool and a text tool. So first the image one. And what I did is I clicked right here up at the top where it says image, and it has a little universal icon for images. So there's a couple different ways to add images. The first, and the one that we're going to see more today, is with the stickers that are preloaded into Wixie. And we might recognize a lot of these from when we used Pixie in class. Stickers are a great way to add pre-made artwork. And what I usually like to see kids do is do a combination where you do a little bit of drawing on your own and creating on your own. You do a little bit of stickers that were pre-made to add to your picture to make it cool. But in any case, when I see this choose an image box, there's tabs at the top. In the future, We might talk about what some of these other tabs do, or maybe I'll talk about just one more today. But we're not going to get a chance to use every single one. We're mainly going to focus on stickers. So to find a sticker that you like, you can find it one of two ways. You can first look through the categories and you can see what category you think you might want a sticker from. So for me, I'm making my picture in space. And if I look around, do I see anything? Fairy tales, maybe. I don't know. Let me think. Objects, okay, that might make sense. That might be one to click on. Science, that might make sense. But look, there's a category right here of space. And I know that this is a folder because it has that little folder icon. So if I click here, I am not going to be adding a space shuttle sticker. I'm clicking on a category. And now here's a good page that shows a mix of things because it has two other folders, phases of the moon and solar system. And if I click those, I'll go into those folders. And then it also has some standalone stickers right here. Stickers that I could click on and will be added to my project. So let's click on a sticker. Let's click on this space shuttle. I like it. And I'm going to give it another click and add it to my picture. And now I have a couple different options. I can resize it by grabbing a corner handle. I say 99% of the time, that's most of the time, use your corner handles to resize things. When you use the side handles, can kind of make things, or the bottom and top handles can kind of make things stretched out ways that you wouldn't want. I say the majority of time that you can use those corner handles to resize things. Then, do we see this little icon right up here at the top that has like a curved arrow? If I click and hold there, I can rotate my picture, right? And I can rotate it to have it look in pointing the way that I want. And if I did not want that picture anymore, I could click on it and click this little X symbol and have it go away. And that's one way to use stickers. I'm going to show you very quickly that you can also search. And again, I'm on my stickers tab. Let's say this time I searched for space. And I typed in this box, clicked enter or pressed on this little magnifying glass to search. And now it's going to show me a lot of those stickers that I could have found on my own, or could have found the other way rather, plus maybe even some more that I hadn't seen yet. And again, I could go and add a sticker. Maybe this time I'll add Saturn for the background. And I could go and add a sticker, if another sticker, if I'd like to. And I can have multiple stickers on the page. And then finally, the last tool that we're going to look at today is the text tool. Now, I clicked on text and it came up with this box right here. Right? Each time you want to type or put words on something in Wixie, we need a text box. And you can have multiple ones, just like multiple stickers, multiple of just about anything. At first, it's not really showing anything. Number one, because it's blank. And number two, what would happen if I typed right now? Who could think about it? Who could predict? Who can think what would happen if I typed? Well, let's try it. I'm going to click in my text box and I'm going to type space. Even spelled it correctly. Did a perfect job. My teacher's going to love it. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I didn't type anything. Or did I type something? I thought I typed something. What's the problem? Well, I'm in the color black because over here are all my settings for my text tool, right? And what I did is I made my word space that I typed in black on a black background. So that wouldn't work. I could possibly put it onto something that's not a black background, like right here, or I could change some of my settings. So I'm going to go select my word space. I can change my font or my shape of the letters, and here's another upgrade because there's a lot more in Wixie than we had seen before in Pixie. So I could go and pick, oh, I like this one for space, and then I could pick a color that I like after I'm done. And I'm going to change this to white so that it shows up better. And then, last but not least, let's change the size. Make this a little bigger. Oh, but there's a problem. Now my letters all went weird, all went crazy. Well, that's because I made a size that was or I used a size, changed it to a size that was too big for the text box. So what I need to do is make my text box a little bigger, and then it'll fit, then it'll line up. There's also some other features aside from the font, color, and size, like the alignment, bold, italics, or underlined, shadow, or a bubble. We'll look at those things in the future. I today want to see everybody in 1st to 4th grade know the main, most useful, most important features of Wixie, and we just about have it. So there, I added in some text. And now I'm going to say that this is finished. If I was doing it for real, I would make it way cooler, way more awesome. I bet all of you could do a better job than I did. But I want to see what happens when I'm done. Let's say that my computer broke right now. Let's say my internet stopped working. Let's say my power went out or my battery died. It would be okay because just like when we work in Google, we do not need to press the save button or save things in Wixie. They will automatically save. And to save on time, I'm not going to do it. I would X out and go back in and sign in. But to save on time, let's see what happens if I just press the home button and then I'm back here where I have my projects and take a look. This is the one that I was just working on, the one that I named Intro to Wixie. And it's right here in the My Projects folder, automatically saved for me. I didn't have to do anything. I could click on it and I could go back to it. Let's see that again. I'm going to press home. I'm going to go back, and anything that I make in Wixie is right here. When I'm done, I don't really need to do anything, and I could be happy just to see that picture. I could print it out if I wanted. I could download a file to someone's computer if I want to, or I could share it. And next week, we're going to see a few more of those options where you guys are going to learn how to do a couple of those different things. For today, I do want to stop so this video doesn't go on too long because I know it's a little long already. But for the rest of any time that you have for computer class today, I want you guys to try. Today's a free try day. We're going to have a specific project in another week or two. But today is a free try day to make anything that you would like in Wixie. If you want to make a space scene like mine, if you wanted yours to be more something with fairies and princesses, if you wanted to make it about Halloween, if you wanted to make it about the beach, make it about an adventure, make it about anything else that you would like, or really today, if you just want to play around, this is a great free time to play around in Wixie, see what you can figure out, see what you can make, see what you can do. Next week, we're going to look at a few more tools and a few more advanced things, and then we're going to have a project to make something in Wixie that we'll be doing over the course of this whole month of November. All of this month is going to be about Wixie and all of the different things that we can do. I hope you guys like it. I hope you're happy to have it. You could go and log into it anytime from any computer, anywhere in the world that has the internet, and I will see you guys next week. Have a great day.